sharing your Sunday evening with us. We have a wonderful production for you today. My co-caster this evening, his name is Light Rose, and our observer, that is First Night of E. My friend, welcome to the casting booth.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see these two teams because they are definitely looking for something to achieve. I mean, going straight into it, we got Unreal Academy. They're 1-1-1, so they got to break that streak somehow, and they're definitely wanting to break that streak with a W. And then you got Troll Team 6, who are technically undefeated. They haven't lost in Siege Cardinaling. They've got 2 wins and 1 draw, so they're really looking to bring it to a full circle, get that W, keep on their streak. Now, let's transition over to the map bans. Tonight, you will see we'll be going to Coastline. What does Coastline mean for this series and why these teams chose it?
What a curious decision coming to this map. Unreal Academy played against Tactical Banditry last week, and it was a 7-5 victory for Unreal. What the problem with that is, TT6 is such a strong team. They're going to do VOD reviews, and taking them back to this map, that almost seems like a mistake to me because their VOD is very active.
Yeah, and one thing is we see that Troll Team did ban Villa earlier in the season. The only match that they haven't won was on Villa, and that was a draw versus Claw Academy. Now, it's been a couple weeks since then, so you kind of would expect Troll Team would get better at that map. And Unreal Academy is technically lower than Claw in the standings, so I'm sure that Troll Team saw these two maps and given their gun skill, thought that they'd be able to best them on Coastline. Now, going over to the community poll, not exactly the most favorited towards Troll Team 6 with the 64% for Unreal Academy.
That seems a little one-sided to me. We've seen so many good games coming out of TT6. And honestly, if I were to be voting this, I would expect it to go 50-50 in my humble opinion. Now, honestly, when I think of Coastline, I think of one particular player. His name is iDelta. Back when he was on that H&C roster, he was so strong. Unfortunately, though, there he is, the primary entry fragger sitting at that rating of 1.23. And he's definitely a highlight player. You're definitely going to have to see him as he plays here. One of the best things you'll do is watch him play play on Vigil here on Coast.
Now, going over to Troll Team 6's stats, we can see the members of that. And Loading Vert gonna be a new member for this team, so we're not gonna have exactly the stats. But we see most of Troll Team 6, they're looking pretty good. The only one who's below a 1.0 rating is Taylor, who's still done decently well. Got a pretty good headshot percentage. Katie is not too far behind, so definitely not dragging Troll Team 6 down here. So a pretty consistent roster.
Now, the thing is, though, Slasher, the member on Trolls Team 6 who is not playing today, he is statistically their best player, sitting at a rating of 1.3. So maybe he's just not available to play today. He also has one of the highest costs throughout this league, and also very few players are even at the 1.3 rating mark anyways. So we're going to have to see how this factors into this overall map. And also, when you have an unknown entity exactly like Loading, it's going to be very curious to see how this pans out altogether.
Yeah, now as we're waiting to get into the game, and as we got some dot time, we can talk about the great thing that everybody's talking about today, and that is the next season reveals Shadow Legacy. What are your thoughts on what occurred today? What you're looking forward to?
Rip Warden Hollow. That's all I have to say. I love the OG Hollow. He no longer has that, so my heart is broken. I might have to throw my mouse out the window. But honestly, one thing that I'm really hyped for is the fact that the reinforcements are issued to the entire team. So you don't have just 2 reinforcements. Everybody can utilize that. And when it comes down to setup time, in theory, the players that have very little setup time, well, you can just basically have them do all the reinforcing for them if you require that. I think that's going to be absolutely meta changing, as well as those new mini pocket thermite charges. But the players are in the lobby. Let's get this game underway here in week number 4.
Yeah, and as we're going to see the ban phase come out, we're going to see Unreal Academy, who is going to be attacking first. They're not going to start banning out. That's going to be Troll Team 6's ban. And, usually we don't see a great variance of bans on Coastline. We might see a Habana ban, a usual Mira ban, something along those lines. You could possibly bring out a Wamai ban. And, as I was talking about, Troll Team 6 are going to be banning that Habana. Could we see a Nomad ban possibly for the second attack ban?
I'm a fan of Capital. He's very oppressive on this map. He has a gadget that basically sets up a utility and like an area of effect almost. But as you predicted, it's going to be Nomad removed. Now, as you mentioned on the Defender sided bans, well, Mira is a staple here as well as Echo. But in honesty, I think Valkyrie is a stronger ban. You can throw her gadgets pretty much anywhere. And honestly, that's
Wow.
absolutely oppressive. And another opera that can be oppressive here on this map is Smoke. You can clip his smokes through walls, especially on billiards couches, and shut down default plant. A lot of teams also integrate him into standard strats.
That's the first time that I've really ever seen a Smoke ban, because Smoke is usually played by both teams. He's normally just the operator that's always there, and a Valkyrie ban, somewhat typical on Coastline. But Mira is gonna be in. That's might be a first, and I expect her to definitely get some playtime here.
Actually, in the last play week, we would see Unreal make the same bans. It was smoke removed, and it changed the entire pace of the game. It allowed the attackers to have more room to set up their final 20-second execute. And the defense, well, they had to rely on vertical nitro cells. The problem with that, though, is the attacking lineups, they actually read into that, and they would position somebody near blue bar. And so when that defender would rotate on down, well, they would have to get a gunfight going, and that would sometimes lead to a post-plant situation. And also the newest operator to competitive scene, that is going to be Iana. She's seen a lot of play here on Coastline. Not only does she increase your drone economy by 50%, but this map is so small, she can self-drone almost instantaneously.
Yeah, that's really what she's used for, is just she has that technically regenerative drone. You're able to spot out. She's not exactly been used for that kind of baiting potential. It's just gathering that information. You're going to get shot. You're going to get it back in a somewhat amount of time. And Artful, I'm expecting to be no different. But Unreal Academy, they do seem a lot more prepared for a map like Coastline. Bringing out, banning that smoke, which Troll Team possibly might not be prepared for. They have to improvise with something like a Goyo. So we could see them bring out some very, very interesting strats that we haven't possibly seen on Coastline.
And one thing I really want to highlight is this duo entry we're going to see from iDelta and Sir Meepslot. Now, the old agency roster, they had a very unique attack, especially when it came down to the site. They would basically suicide entry in through office and then fan out from there, sending 2 of their members down in security and then 2 of them into New Blue, and just try to basically make this circle around the defense and then execute on out. Just judging using our Gone vision, though, they're not electing to do a strategy similar to that. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. iDelta's now going to jinx me straight on. Lion calls are going to rain out, confirming that the defense is nowhere near these entries. And one thing I love about Lion, he provides information at all times. Whether or not he's getting a ping, well, that's information. Or if he's not getting a ping, well, that's even more information. But Nicolo, he's going to get aggressive. He's going to push up cool vibes. He's going to find one. He's going to attempt a second, but nobody's going to be presenting themselves. And that's the exact opening that TT6 needed. Welcome to Coast.
Yeah, Vly was really able to enter hookup very easily, and obviously was not prepared for the entry of Nashilo. Now we're going to see Artful drone in, and oh, that Jaeger is just going to be hiding along, but that Yana Gemini locator is just going to be able to put out the Jaeger. Some shots can be ran up, but a great shot by Nicolo, going to find that head, and now it's a 5v3 as Artful's going to have to push in, and there we go. We are going to see a refrag, and suddenly Unreal Academy has the man counter as iDelta's going to be able to find 2, and now it's just loading, and Taylor going to have to hold down the site with a relatively large amount of time for Unreal Academy to plant this bomb. Diffuser.
Wow, what an aggressive start coming out by the defense, but immediately bouncing back, and here we go. iDelta's going to continue this train, moving on forward. Shots go out, but not netting really any damage, at least confirming the kill, the rotation on through, and that's going to be Artful wrapping things up. Unreal Academy, a very strong execute. But I think the motif of today is going to come down to gunfights, and particularly winning those gunfights, at least if round 1 shows anything for us.
Yeah, we saw that round really went in the direction of Troll Team 6. Niccolo, however you say it, doesn't really matter because their gun does the talking for them. We're just really able to hold Hookah relatively well. If they were able to find the pick onto Artful, having another man in the lineup could have really changed that round. But I think the guns came around. We saw iDelta get the 3-man along with Artful getting the 2. So these two already finding the guns firing, and they just want to keep it up as they're going to 6-pick under the Ana, going for a similar style of attackers. We're going to go to Hookah and Billiards.
Now, IQ really doesn't provide a lot of utility. She just has a Claymore and a Breaching Charge, and especially on more what I'll call traditional maps where you have to do that utility consumption meta, well, she really doesn't provide a lot unless you're going underneath or above and using that IQ scanner. But on the contrary, when we see a set of frag grenades on that Iana, not only can she participate in the utility consumption meta, but she also increases that drone economy as mentioned before. Now, a staple that we've seen on this map, and especially in SCL, is a multi-shield setup. But the problem with the smoke ban is now you're going to have to relegate different operators to smokes, and right now it's just going to be Wamai on that duty.
Yeah, that really changes up the strategy because usually you could sit somebody behind that shield, just try to waste as much time as possible. But there's really no other operator that can do such a thing that at least Troll Team 6 are going to bring. We're not seeing any type of plant denial. We're not seeing any C4s. We are going to see the Mozzie and the Mute bring out the C4. So that's really the only thing they have to really deny this plant. There's going to be no Goyo, like I mentioned, and they're just going to have to deal with something else. As right now the droning phase is going to start ending as we're going to see Loading get that first frag as that line scan is going to come out, and they're just going to try to find that Mute who's just hiding on this first floor.
Now, before we went live, we talked about how important Mute Mozzie is. Well, there's a great example of Nicola. He is going to find another kill in this round. But what Mute Mozzie brings you is pure information denial. And this is an incredibly small map, which should be very easy to drone. But when you have this duo combination, it's nigh on impossible. And even that Iana, well, she's going to struggle in this meta because she can't bypass those mutes. And you can still see it working out right now. And also something I always like to think about is, in theory, you could be standing on a mute jammer as that line EE1D call goes out, and you could in theory swing without ever getting pinged. You hardly ever see that, but it is something that's cool and has the potential of happening. And it appears there's a prone player sitting on 90 trying to get aggressive, trying to contest this auto, but so far no engagement.
I think this is very interesting that we're seeing coming up from that Maestro, that soft wall is going to be broken. So the Maestro Cam is going to be able to really find any players that are coming down this hallway. A little bit of downtime here as we see iDelta and the rest of the Unreal Academy crew are trying to just find some members of Troll Team, trying to even the man count and push in. But Artful gonna be in Aquarium, don't have their Gemini replicator up yet, and here we go. Some shots are going to rain out, but no damage going to be done to any members of Troll Team 6, and now guns are just firing as the rest of Unreal Academy is going to be in Aquarium, and I expect this is where we're going to see this attack come from, as the rest of Troll Team are just going to shift over to defend this Billiard site.
It's going to be on the defense, though. They're going to have to maintain their strong man count, and that frag grenade ringing out was definitely something they didn't want to see. It's iDelta also coming on this board as well. It's back to equal man count with 40 seconds left. The attackers, well, they have plenty of time still to execute, and you can see that exactly right now as they're continuing to drone out, trying to remove the positioning of these defenders. It's very strong, very difficult to deal with, especially since they're bunkered down. A Nitro Cell goes out, doing very little damage. It was actually be the double prone angle. Artful's going to find his second kill in the round, and he's still looking out for more. Bomb's almost down, and it will be. It's now a 1v3, as it's going to be Loading Vert, the newest player of Troll Team. He's almost going to have to do the impossible.
He's going to have to get a 4K to really bring this back. All he's got, he doesn't have the Nitro Cell. He's got 3 bullets, 1 bullet left on the SMG-11, and that's going to lead nowhere. A great comeback here from Unreal Academy, and they're just going to keep up their streak, and they're going to go 2-0 in this round.
Now, this is an attacker-sided map, so maybe we're just seeing that come on through. And Unreal, they did play this map last week, and they did win. So maybe they're bringing out new strategies, because again, Troll Team 6 is a team that's going to do VOD reviews on you. And right now, the way they're playing defense, it doesn't look like they've even attempted a VOD review before. Now, Alibi, we kind of talked about the multi-shield setup. She's an operator that brings a deployable shield, and on this map in particular, you can basically place those holograms behind the shields and force the attackers to pre-fire those angles, and then those attackers get pinged. The opportunity cost of not pre-firing that angle is well having somebody shoot back at you.
As we go back down to kitchen, the operator lineup is going to be exactly the same as the first time. An interesting thing, we've seen Troll Team 6 get the opening pick both rounds, but Unreal Academy has claimed both rounds as a victory. So really, Unreal Academy, they're doing a great job at fighting while a man down. You know, last round, we saw there were 2 men down, and they just were able to even that in about the span of 10 seconds, find more, and have a complete open site. It was their site by the time that line was able to get the diffuser down. And I'm expecting this kitchen defense to really be no different, as we're hoping that Vly is going to be a little bit more aware going into billiards, because that vertical play is going to be a lot bigger in these type of rounds.
The thing about that is I agree 100%, but Unreal, they really never took vertical control. They did push in through Hookah, but they won the majority of those gunfights that gave them map control for free. They elected to not break down the bunker strategy, instead just push in and win their 1v1 gunfights by establishing crossfires. And that's something that we talked about earlier. That's how the old H&C roster played. So maybe iDelta, he's just rubbing off a little bit here on Unreal. But we're going to have to see, especially now that the horses are left out of that gate. The attackers, they're going to slowly be grabbing man advantage as a Sir Meepslot finds the opener.
Yeah, and that's going to be the first opening pick for Unreal, going to be able to grab. And Loading Vert is also going to be down, but Sir Meepslot downed as well. But who is going to be able to get picked up as pings are going to be able to locate that smoke. But Rima is going to be able to be there to pick up Loading, as Nickel is going to be able to even the man count. And right now, it's a 2v3 with the men that are down right now. As Nicolo is going to be hiding in blue bar, doesn't know that there's another person right in office, and that's the Buck of Lie. And right now, it seems we're going to have Unreal come back again, being men down.
Well, flurry of gunshots fell out, but nobody's really getting aggressive. It's going to be the secondary shotgun in hand, but no, he's going to end up losing that gunfight. And now Loading Vert will most likely get res. And remember, points are not on, so none of the attackers knew that at all. But it's going to be iDelta stuck in this 1v4. He's going to have to push down Cool Vibes. He's going to spot the head of one, but that's unfortunately going to be his undoing. Trolltix takes their first round in very commanding fashion. They fought aggression with aggression, and it worked out for their favor.
Look, I have to say it. Insecurity, the size of the shotgun does not matter. It's how you use it. And the alibi of Rima clearly knew how to use that judge and was able to beat the skeleton key shotgun. And that was really just a flurry of fast-paced gun skills. And it's what we expect on a map like Coastline. It's really about just how quickly can you aim those shots? How good are you at aiming those shots? Because utility, yeah, it's a second-hand thing compared to winning your gunfire, whatever you call it in this map.
Yeah, gun go burr, and so we're just gonna call them burr fights. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Pick it up right there.
Yep, that's what we're patenting. I'm gonna go file that with the U.S. Patent Office. Well, I call them my pancakes. That's something else I've patented. But you could also call Belgian waffles for ADSs, so it kind of becomes the breakfast theme if you want to look at it. And look at that! Both of those individuals are currently in play. It's going to be the Jaeger Romai or the Belgian waffle pancake meta, as we're also going to be patenting that here in round number 4. But the last time we were here, we also saw Unreal Nightmare take a very commanding lead, all being stemmed by their wonderful execution of their 1v1 gunfights. And honestly, I think Coastline's just going to come down to that today. Who's winning their gunfights, but more importantly, who's establishing trades, or at least putting their players in an opportunity to get a trade.
It's really about how good are you at getting those refrags? And looking at the score line here, not the score line, the kills, we see Artful and iDelta on the side of Unreal Academy really getting the meat of Unreal Academy's kills, and Nichilo with 6 kills on Troll Team 6. So it's a lot of individual performances right now that are carrying each of these teams and allowing them to get the victories.
So I guess you can say that the breakfast sausage of our meta, at least going on with there. And
You're really riding on these puns here, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. I love the dad jokes. Yeah, you can definitely tell that I'm very hungry today. It is only 5, which means I haven't eaten dinner. And as we see more of the defenders finding themselves on the kitchen side, it's just going to make me even more hungry. But the attackers, they're going to have to push out those defenders and claim the kitchen for their own. But right now, it's actually going to be an East execute from White Stairs.
I think we haven't touched exactly a lot on the roam game of Troll Team 6. I mean, Nichilo is really the hardcore anchor of that roam game. You don't usually see anchors with roaming, but Nichilo and Raimai are really just being the nightmares with 6 kills, just being absolute nightmare. But really, Unreal Academy are just blowing by the first one. They're already going to jump into luggage, jump into Aquarium. C4 gonna go out. They're going to check the cam just to make sure. They're going to prep that C4 to see anyone who goes by an Aquarium. No, that Ayana is going to have her world rocked, as Nichilo luckily had that cam perfectly placed to see the Ayana go into office. And that was just a great drone placement and great game sense to win that fight right there.
Once again, the opening death is going not in favor of Unreal Nightmare, but they've come back from this before. But iDelta, he's flirting with death as there's a Nitro Cell below him, but Sir Meepslot is going to save his life and kill the member that owned that Nitro Cell. We're once again back to equal man count as Remy is going to jinx me with that. Natural's going to be off the board, and the attackers are once again on the back foot. But they've come back from before, but they're going to have to deal with the utility that's currently being shot in their direction. Derek knows how to use his Evil Eye perfectly, as he's just going to be tasing away the feet of the attackers, slowly chipping away at their damage. Sir Meepslop is going to find a kill in this round again, but it's going to be iDelta. He's down but not out, but fortunately for him, he's the only operator in game that can self-res. There's only 20 seconds left. The attackers are going to have to go. HP advantage is very much in favor of the defense, and especially now when another kill goes in their favor, they're going to have to push in deep. It's running out of time. A flurry of kills go in, and Remy's going to find 3 big kills.
Great round by Remy, just holding that billiard site, able to find any members that were just hiding in the window. And honestly, once again, it's just that gunfight. As we see, these rounds are just going to even on up. And I have to mention, this is one little thing. Zofia is not the only operator that can self-res. You missed my boy Doc.
No, but see, he has utility that does it. If he runs out of utility, he cannot self-res. Zofia can always self-res no matter what her IQ or no matter his utility, and that's the difference.
Yes, but by your choice of words, we can deduce that Zofia is not the only operator that can self-res.
All right,
I've got you beat. I've got you beat. Don't try me.
Right, only operator that can res without utility or without a gadget. There we go. Happy?
Yes, thank you.
Anyways, here we go back into round number 5, and it's going to be double bars taking place here. The first time that we've seen it. And Mira, well, she isn't banned, and this is one of her strongest sights. You can face Amira looking straight in the south, right into offices, as well as double bar. It is absolutely impressive. It's almost impossible to break down. And in theory, I guess you can go up to Penthouse Theater with Mira. She's kind of brought out there. I wouldn't personally go there, but I guess you can use it as a quaternary bomb site if you so decided.
Yeah, Coastline being a less utility deserved site, it's more just about where you want fights to take place. You know, on this site, we usually see fights take place in coat room, in hallway, on stairs, something like that. So we see Troll Team really be confident in their ability to have the sites prepped for their guns. We see this Echo being played, wanting to either deny that plant or having that ACOG, which sadly I don't think Echo will have anymore after this season.
Nope, he is losing an ACOG for, I believe, a 2x scope. I could be wrong, but I actually think he's getting the 1x scope. But if you're not familiar with what you're talking about, there's going to be 5 new sites coming in Rainbow Six Siege, all starting at a 3x scope on DMRs, all the way down to new 1x sites. And honestly, all the scopes look pretty cool for the most part. If I were to be a little bit constructive of them, though, there's far too much like around the bezeling. We see these big knobs and buttons, and I just personally do not like that. But the attackers, they're a little slow in this round. The majority of them are still outside of the map. Now, that's a hard floor you're looking at, Mozzie. You cannot be sending your nitro cell there, but I think he's actually waiting for a different call. I think he's waiting for somebody to push in through Hookah.
Yes, possibly. As we're seeing that drone be captured by the Mozzie, and there's not exactly many roamers on that second floor like we usually see. They're mostly on the first floor. The only one you can really see is possibly the Vigil hanging around on lobby stairs, but that doesn't really matter as Derek the Dad is going to go down, but not just yet, as the Capta was able to find that down from outside. So Vigil gonna be alive just for a little bit more. I don't know exactly if they're gonna be able to find that revive, but that is not gonna happen as Artful is gonna claim that kill, and now that Jaeger is just gonna have to back off.
You can see Raimi attempting to save his mate, but sadly the crossfire was established, and Derek will be removed from round number 5. It's going to be a retake of Cool Vibes as Nico is going to get aggressive, but sadly that's going to be his undoing as a wonderful headshots rolls in for Artful. But it's going to be the now ACOG MP5 claiming Sir Meepsalot, your primary fragger, as well as those 3 flashbangs and 2 breaching charges that were not utilized have now been removed here in round number 5 once again. So how will the attackers fare out? Well, they're still establishing their crossfires. They're trying to bait the aggression coming out by Troll Team. And this is also a roster that loves aggression, so it's going to happen momentarily. But Taylor, he's in a very dangerous position. He knows he's going to have to get aggressive, playing straight into the hands of Unreal Nightmare with a Bearing 9 in hand. Loading Bird's going to find one off screen, but here comes that gunfight, but sadly Echo's going to lose it out in the dying seconds of this round. There's only 20 of them left. The attackers are going to have to flood on in, but the defense, they're going to fight for every second left. The attackers know this full too well as they're pushing in right now, and it's going to be Fly finding another kill in this round. It's just loading, stuck in this 1v3, but the attackers aren't in a position to win. It's going to be 2 big kills, and that might be the end of this round. Loading Bird clutches it out right when his team needed him.
Wow, a great job by Lodenbert. You see a great angle of their SMG-11. If you're able to find heads, you only need 2 bullets right there. We saw no matter how big that magazine size was, able to claim 2 members of Unreal Academy, and a great job by Lodenbert just to stay calm, have that gun ready, able to see that clock and just find the kills that were needed. And now we're going to see this as a defensive 3-3 is the best that Unreal Academy can do on this attacker-sided map.
Now, some fun facts for you. TT6 actually has one of the highest win rates when it comes to 1vx situations. Now, we tend to see Derek in those positionings as well as Nicola. But the thing is, with this new addition, I almost think their lethality when it comes to their backs against the wall is going to be so great. You can never cut this team out, and you've seen it on Twitter throughout this week. They're wonderful. If you don't follow them on Twitter, I definitely recommend doing so. But here we go. It's going to be round number 6, and right now the defense are currently leading for the first time in this series. How will Unreal Nightmare break down this strategy? Well, we have to find out right here, right now.
Currently, what we've seen on Kitchen is 1-1 for the defensive team. We saw Unreal Academy win out that first round, but then we saw Troll Team 6 come back and win the 3rd round. So they're going back to it. They're opting to stay with the same operator lineup. What is different this time around? What do you think they're really going to change in strategy, or do they even need to change strategy?
Well, they did win it in round number 3, but they did use Kitchen in round number 1. The adjustment they made between those 2 different rounds was getting aggressive, not only as guaranteeing their opening kill, but having another player around where they can get that refrag momentarily. That's the adaptation that TT6 made, and I'm guessing they're going to continue to utilize that out. Now, if you're on the side of Unreal, though, you're going to have to know this, and you're going to have to bring more men to break down these strongholds. Also, we've seen Unreal, they kind of getting a little bit aggressive. They are skipping their checklist, and what I mean by that is they're not doing their due diligence when it comes to roaming. or droning, pardon me. They did that in round number 1. They did that in round number 2, but they've stopped doing that ever since.
And now we're seeing that mute meta just really come in, denying any access to theater where a bunch of Troll Team 6 are holding. So Unreal's just going to have to really run in blind, just going to have to use those soft destruction to really destroy any deployable shields that we see that the Goyo is dealing. And now some C4s are going to rain out. Not going to do anything, but Loadingverse going to have to back off a lot of damage done to Mute, but still luckily he has his life, and that's all you need. And they're just going to have to back off of Theodore as the pressure is too strong.
And that's exactly what we needed out of Unreal. Playing as a team, coordinating and utilizing their utility. But it's honestly probably advised to be rotating back. And Derek is going to start us off here in round number 6, utilizing that beautiful boom boom device. And here we go. I think that's going to continue to transpire out because there's still one more Nitro Cell on the side of TT6. And the attackers, well, they're going to have to be even more wary as they take this vertical destruction. That's going to be Sledge tasked with this job. But unfortunate to him, though, he's kind of stuck behind this shield trying to get around it. He's almost afraid that somebody's going to wide swing him out. But again, we have God vision, so we know that top floor has been relinquished.
Yeah, but the thing is, do Unreal know that top floor has been relinquished? They're still being a little bit cautious, and now we're starting to see this execution on site. We see Vilai starting to deal damage to that floor, but a lot of damage being done to them in turn, as they're just going to continue on. No matter how dangerous it is, they have to do their job. And they're just going to take their time, as now with 30 seconds left, we are going to see Taylor able to claim another life. Nixel gonna go for that outside peek, not going to find anything, but Sir Mepsilot going to try to even up that man count, as we're seeing Loading just try to see if they can find another person through that bullet hole. Oh, just a little too late. And sadly, Loading Girl's going to have to back off. Only 13 seconds left. And Natural, there's a lot of pressure onto that outside delivery. And they're going to have to find this frag, and they do, but only 5 seconds. They have to get the diffuser down now, and that's what they are.
Well, here we go. It's now effectively a 2v1 as bombs being planted out. It's going to be the easiest kill of Derek's life as Troll Team finds their 4th round in a row. They started off a little slow, but they are definitely warming up. And this is a team that you cannot allow to gain momentum. We've seen it before, and we've seen it again. Honestly, what I remember most is actually week number 1, that Villa game. And Derek had probably one of the greatest 1v3 post-plan catches that we've ever seen here in SCL. And as soon as that happened, they went on an absolute round tear. Well, looky here. We actually saw that exact thing happen. It was Loadingvert win a 1v3 technically. He only got 2 kills, but he still won that. And now they're still winning more and more rounds. It's just going to be a liability to allow these teams to get fired up.
The hope here for Unreal Academy is that this split's really going to cool the hot momentum that Troll Team 6 have gained, as you're going to see the Troll Team 6 is going to be now attacking onto this bomb site. And as we're going to be going over to Billiards and Hookah, a little bit different from what we saw the first time around. What can you expect with the lineup? We're seeing a Jackal for the first time on this game.
Well, Jackal's a curious operator. And if you remember, when iDelta was on HNC, well, he played one operator and one operator only. That was Vigil. He was impossible to shut down on these extended roams. People did everything, whether or not it was the Jackal, whether or not it was a Lion, and they could not punish him. So it's going to be on Troll Team 6 to understand that strategy and thus be able to shut down iDelta. And as soon as he's removed from this round, I think they're going to be allowed to set up their strategy and then eventually execute upon sight.
I mean, right now, iDelta isn't the only one really claiming bodies. We see Artful getting that same amount of kills as iDelta, who's hopefully wanting to gain as much of a presence that iDelta has had in Seas Cardinal League. And now we're seeing iDelta having that mute jammer really to block off any drones because, you know, Vigil doesn't have enough. But oh no, Loadingvert has left the game. We possibly might need a rehost. Possibly we'll see Troll Team 6 are just going to have to go forward. Don't exactly know what has happened with there, and it's pretty unfortunate for them, as they're going to have a man down and they have the momentum.
It's actually outside of the rehost window, so eventually it's going to be a 9-man lobby here in round number 7, and it's going to be attackers having to do this 4v5. And honestly, that's probably one of the best case scenarios for Unreal Nightmare, which is going to allow their extended roam. Well, you can't shut it down the way you want to because you won't be able to set up crossfires. But that's not going to stop Derek because he's going to get aggressive and he's going to punish Idel for that. But Sir Meeps is going to refrag and he's going to find 2 big kills. That was exactly the rebound they needed.
And now only with 2 members alive, we're going to see Remy and Taylor just going to have to battle back against the many guns and bodies that Unreal Academy has had. And they're going to take their time. We see Diffuser all the way over in delivery. So I don't know if they're going to possibly go for a retake of something. We're going to see a tactical timeout. I don't know. It's up to Troll Team 6 if they're going to have to bounce back, because Unreal Academy really did that. We saw on something like Aquarium, they were able to come back from being multiple men down and win the round. About a minute 10 left. We might see Troll Team possibly try to go for frags as they're nowhere near the diffuser.
Yeah, it's going to have to come down to the fragging game, but fortunately, we will not need a rehost as Loading Vert has returned back over to our lobby, but it's going to be the bubble pings coming out, confirming the location of the attackers, but that Evil Eye, its life might be forfeit, but no, the breaching launcher is going to miss. That's going to be a huge blunder, but fortunately for the attackers, well, the second one will land. There's still plenty of time left in this round as a Nitro Cell is going to be sent out, but that's not going to land anywhere near the attackers, and it's gonna be 2 big kills coming out by Unreal, and that was a wonderful round number 7. Now, true, it was a 4v5.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for the rest of Troll Team 6, but now they have Loading Vert back. They've got all their members back, so hopefully as we go to Kitchen this time, things are going to be a little bit different, as we're 1 round away from really evening this series up.
They're obviously asking questions. And honestly, one thing I love is the camaraderie between teams as they're just joking around, because sometimes Siege can be a little wonky and sometimes you get punished from angles that you just don't think so. Now, a curious role change coming out is going to be now Delta on the Jaeger and Sir Meeps a lot on the Vigil. So I'm going to be curious to see how those 2 operators fit into their playstyle. Is Jaeger going to be on some very aggressive angle? Is he going to be, or is he going to be holding an angle? Because we can see him do both. But Vigil, on the other hand, you might be able to set him up maybe on Master Bedroom and just try to waste as much time as possible and trying to claim as many drone lives as possible, as it can be a curious castle barricade on the side of reception.
You don't really see Castle getting played, especially with this type of barricade. They're going for this really outside bulletproof cam just to see anybody that's going near them. Not going to try to block off that delivery door, as it seems that for right now we're seeing Unreal try a multiple style defense. We're seeing reinforcements come in from the west side, from Sunrise. We're seeing upstairs, and possibly Sir Mepsala might go for an outside pick. We might see that, and now we are going to see he's going to run outside, but not going to be able to find anything. It's just going to have to back off. No harm, no foul. You take a risk, but luckily no damage done.
Well, the attackers are going to have to be a little bit more wary as they approach closer to this building. And honestly, while that run out may have not actually landed any bullets, it will waste about, we'll call it 15 seconds, because the attackers not only are going to have to be wary when they enter the building, but they're also going to have to drone out that last known position. And I can promise you this Vigil has rotated far away from his initial run out. And even if he didn't, well, the attackers would have a world of problems trying to drone out his actual location. But a curious decision coming out by the defense. They've completely relinquished top floor, and this is going to allow the attackers to manipulate the site above them as much as possible.
Yeah, and now they're just going to cycle through their camps. We see Natural just holding on that blue bar. Nobody exactly near there, but the vertical play has not exactly started for Troll Team 6. They're still just waiting around. See if any roamers are up top. Not yet. They don't see that, but they haven't started their onslaught of that second floor, as we're just going to see some rotates, trying to find an opening pick. And Remy just wanting to find a body to find an, oh no, the ACOG site's actually going to block that person. And we're just waiting here is see what is going to actually happen for Troll Team 6 here.
Well, fear not, ACOG sites will no longer be blocking players, as most people will not have access to ACOGs in the near future, as Lion Pings start to go out trying to confirm the location of the defense, as well as these last-minute round dronings. This is probably one of the most important things that a lot of teams forget about, is these mid to late round drones. It really allows you to get a better understanding of the positioning of the defense. And look at this, Sir is on this very tight angle, but he's going to be forced away by the vertical pressure. But he's also going to try to get aggressive, trying to mitigate that and trying to shut down Sledge. But no shots really exchanged as the dying seconds of the round start to approach.
Yeah, that first kill is going to go to Unreal, but luckily Derek, through that vertical play, is going to be able to find the mute. Luckily, no C4 gone, but iDelta is going to claim anybody who was in sight. Now 30 seconds left. We're seeing just attack come through for Troll Team 6. The Diffuser is there, but Taylor is on so low health, and Loading is just on that second floor. So now with about 12 seconds left, they're going to have to go into the site here with so many guns trained on that delivery door. This takeout of the Vigil is the first thing, but as Loading goes down, Taylor with only a sliver of HP is going to do exactly nothing, as iDelta claims the last two, and Unreal are going to even this game up.
iDelta does what he does best, and that is issuing body bangs just like you would at a camping vacation. But here we go, back into round number 9, and it's going to be double bar for these defenders. Now, double bar, the last time we were here, well, that was on TT6 defense, and we saw that absolute brilliant clutch. Will we see something like that? I highly doubt it. But what I can guarantee, or at least what I can speculate, is we're going to see more opening kills go in favor of the defense because they're going to be trying to play aggressive. We constantly see them attempting runouts, whether it's initial for a spawn peak or towards the late rounds. We saw iDelta. He actually tried to run it, I think, 3 or 4 different times throughout that round. Sadly, he never actually got a kill there. But what he did is he forced the attackers to be a little bit more wary. And in the end, that cost them because every time he did that, it wasted about 10 seconds.
I mean, that's really the game, or that's the goal of the roamer, is waste time. Even if you go down, if you wasted about 1:30 to 2 minutes, you did your job. And it may not seem like it in the stats, but everybody will know exactly what you did. So, you know, iDelta, Artful, you do have the kills, but if you didn't, we would definitely salute you for the job that you do.
Indeed, we will. Now, we've seen a little bit of, I dare say, changed up in the attacking strategy. Most of these attackers, they're really patient about executing on the top floor. And I think they're just coming down to the aggression. And that's probably another key factor as to why these rounds are slow for the attackers. As once again, it's going to be Sir Meepsalot, a very aggressive run out, but he's not spotting out anything. And this time, well, the attackers, they have no idea that he's anywhere near the kitchen sign. So how will that play in effect? Well, he's going to be relegated back in the kitchen, trying to provide as much information to his teammates as possible.
Troll Team 6, I think they're really going to have to take out this pulse, and that's going to be very hard because that is Sir Meepsalot's kingdom. He's got those reinforcements, he's got those ADSs to deal with any grenades, and he's just really going to deal with that north side, going to deal with anybody going through, but Loading is going to claim the first kill, and that's going to be on the roaming Jaeger. Luckily, there's still a lot of members left for Unreal to really deal with that roam game. But they're a man down, and that hasn't gone well because they've had the opening pick in this split so far. So possibly a change for the opening pick could mean a change in the round wins, as Troll Team has yet to win a round in this split.
Currently, Sir Meepsalot is still trying to find one with his cardiac sensor. He's being very patient. He wants to line up that nitrocell and confirm that it has a target. And there it goes. It is sent out. But sadly, there's nobody on the receiving end of that utility that we've been hyping up. Well, it will be not finding it. But here we go. The attackers, they're still going to utilize this vertical destruction, and they have plenty of time to do that. They're just trying to break down this bunker strategy as Derek's going to find another kill in this round. Your main offsite pressure, it has been dealt with, so it's going to come down to your 3 on-site pressuring players. But the thing is, the upside down pressure might be their undoing.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing great with this vertical play, but vertical play essentially is not the objective of the game. The objective of the game is to get that diffuser down, and that's what they still have yet to do. Is another C4 is going to ring out. They've only got one left, and that is Artful's. But as time is going to go down, Taylor is still going to have to try to get the diffuser down in a 5v2 left, as we possibly could see another 1vx, as it's only Artful and Sir Mipsalot left to really combat this site, as Sir Mipsalot is going to be flashed and taken out, as it's Artful who's going to have to get an ace clutch to keep his team's momentum. He's going to find one. That's the first step in bringing this back, but loading is going to start that defuse. Artful's going to have to rotate around through that office side, but there's going to be no clutch this time, as Ramai is going to claim Artful, and Troll Team 6, they're going to breathe the sigh of relief as they're going to go ahead in this round game.
Both of these teams are so equal when it comes down to their execute and when it comes down to their gunfights. And in all honesty, Light Road, I'm going to expect to see 12 rounds being utilized. And if I dare say so, I think we're going to see a tie by these two teams. Now, remember, we did see Unreal Academy play this map in the previous play week, so hopefully Troll Team 6 is able to utilize that VOD reviews, and right now they do find themselves in the lead, so maybe they are now starting to touch on those strategies that they previously broke down. But once again, it's going to be a double bar site for the defenders, and once again, it's going to be Pulse. Now, I would like to see Mozzie, Mute, and Pulse play a little closer to each other so we can see double or triple nitro cells.
Yeah, sometimes that Pulse is used just to relay other C4s. While Pulse does have a C4, he's got to put down his cardiac sensor. He's got to throw his C4. Sometimes you got to recheck if somebody's there, then you blow it. I mean, if you just pull out, you've got somebody next to you, you say, hey, somebody's there. They just throw it up, blow it up, boom. A lot of time is still on the clock for you. And as you mentioned, seeing that Mozzie Pulse play together would be really helpful for Unreal Academy. They're able to possibly utilize that C4 more, because last round they had 3 C4s on the board and got exactly 0 kills with them on this blue bar site, which vertical play is a very key factor in.
And indeed it is. Also, what I like about that double combination is the fact that it's going to shut down the drone economy. In theory, Eiffel can shut down 30% of that as he comes with aggressive spawn peek. He's actually going to spot the head, but he's going to lose that gunfight. Sir Meepsala in that Pulse that we've been hyping up, he will no longer find any impact in this round, as that cardiac sensor as well as that nitro cell has been sacrificed for absolutely free. And brilliant shot coming out, and all you need to see is one pixel. That light coming through that bullet hole was enough to punish him out. And here we go, Troll Team in control of round number 10.
Yeah, Ramai, an absolute great shot with an absolute monster of gun as the C4 is going to go out. Great patience by Artful there, is waiting, and it did exactly its job. It was able to claim Ramai a revenge for Sir Meepsalot, as we're going to have an even man count in Unreal Academy as we see another prepped C4 come out. They're wanting to bring this round back, because Troll Team 6 are 1 round away from bringing this to match point. SC4 going to do exactly 0 damage to any members of Troll Team 6 as they're going to relocate outside of this building.
Well, the attackers, they can breathe a sigh of relief as no more nitro cells are remaining, so they can just hang out upstairs as they do their vertical pressure. They are struggling with dealing with these Mozzie pests, though, as they've now cleared it out. But there's a player moving into offices. They're going to have to clear him out, and I don't believe he's going to be leaving the site without a gunfight. And as I say that, he's going to be returning back over to Blue Bar. But it's not going to matter, though, as the attackers, well, there's 60 seconds left. They have plenty of time still to execute it out, but they're going to have to start moving now. And with the fuser still on the other side of the map, it's not looking good.
Yeah, right now, time is of the essence for Troll Team 6. They've got to get that diffuser down and go into the site as they're looking to shift towards that A site. That's really their object of desire. But a lot of defenders are placed in B side, especially natural, that possibly C4 doesn't have. But Jaeger is just going to be holding on a site of A. But members just being very, very careful around security. We see Nishglo being very cautious as iDelta is waiting right around the corner. And luckily, that is going to go in Troll Team 6's favor as the diffuser is going to be started to be planted by Loadingbird, as there's only one member left, and it's Natural. And Natural's not going to live for much longer as Troll Team 6 is going to go on to match point.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this brilliant 2K coming out by Derek. They are so effective on their attack because they're basically manipulating the defense into getting aggressive. They're forcing their backs against the wall. And as a defender, well, you have no other option other than to challenge. And the thing with that is, though, the attackers are presenting themselves with two members. And I can promise you this, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're never going to be winning a multi-angle crossfire. You might kill one of those players, but your refrag will be instantaneous. So hopefully the defense of Unreal Nightmare is able to understand this and maybe establish a duo roam. That would be probably the best way of shutting down the attackers, because this way the crossfire the attackers have established, well, now you can answer it back from your angles, and that's the give and take.
Exactly. And now we're going to be going on to Billiards. The only time we've seen Billiards on this split for Unreal Academy was in round 7, and they did win that. So hopefully they're wanting to gain some of that juju like they did before, because they have to win both of these rounds to gain a single point, because that's all they have left. Their chances of winning this game are gone. And all they have to have left is just not get 0 points, because 1 point is all that is left.
Now, how do you think the smoke ban is actually affecting this overall game? And right now, the attackers are looking so strong for both of these teams on their own attacking side of the halves. It really looks like smoke hasn't been a hindrance whatsoever.
Yeah, his main job is that plants now, but we've seen like 1-2 plants come out in this entire game. It's mostly just been a frag fest. Coastline usually is, but Smoke, I could see him having exactly 0 impact, because there's no reason to bring him, because there's no plants to deny.
That is a good point. And there's a player sitting on security, and he is going to be pinched by 2 different windows, one coming out of offices and one on that security. His life will most likely be forfeit, as Nicolo, he's going to ninja around that Mozzie Pest. And unfortunate for Unreal Nightmare, they're not going to know that there's anybody coming in through service. And here he goes, walking in scot-free, but it's going to be Artful finding one. He was in a crossfire, remember, but he's still going to win out that gunfight, as the attackers, they're still trying to take control of the bottom floor, pushing out through T-Hum. Sir Meepslot is going to get felled for free, and the attackers are still in control this round, especially as they find more and more kills.
And Troll Team 6, they're just going to have that man advantage, as Artful is going to go down. Only iDelta is the roam game left. What was funny about Nichilo's drone there was it looks like he was playing Ninja Diffuse, but there was, oh no! Whatever happened there is very unfortunate, because Loadingbird is going to find Derek, and suddenly the man count is even without Unreal Academy having to do anything. And that's a huge hindrance, as that was an extreme advantage that you had to win this game.
But we've seen them come back from before, and actually we've seen both these rosters come back from before, so you can never count either one of them out, especially with iDelta up and breathing. He's going to be rotating over to the east side of the map, trying to create a 90-degree crossfire of his own. As the attacker is pushing through Aqua, well, they're just going to have to be a little extra wary. And it's going to be the line pings going out once again, but the attacker is not attempting to capitalize on that as all, as once again, you can see that iDelta players sitting on the east stairs.
Trying to defend those east stairs, as you mentioned, but nobody's really coming from there. It seems that the rest of Troll Team 6 are trying to do an aquarium take. They're trying to make sure that nobody is coming from behind as that Delta is gonna rotate. And now here comes that drones, the flashes, the attack onto the site. And there's just only time will tell if Troll Team 6 are able to come this out. Nobody has the man advantage. We're going to see Nichilo come from underneath, possibly find the feet of somebody, but not able to claim the kills. Loading Brick is going to try to plant, and they are going to get it down, but Taylor is going to sacrifice their life, and it's only iDelta in the rest of Troll Team 6, but Troll Team 6 is going to claim iDelta's life, and they're going to claim those 3 points. And a very close coastline game, not in rounds, but in spirit, definitely.
Well, it was a wonderful game to wrap up Sunday evening, and it just looked like Troll Team 6 was coordinating so well. They're utilizing their drone economy, and they're utilizing their teammates to pinch the defenders and eventually win out those gunfights. So wonderful execute. And look at the scoreboard. Honestly, everybody was really contributing in some regard. Maybe they weren't getting as many kills, but they're droning in their teammates or they're playing out supports. And 4 members of this lobby found double digits. That's something that you don't see very often, but it is Coastline, a map that is designed to frag.
Yeah, now as we wait possibly to hear from Troll Team 6 if they want to bring somebody for an interview, what do you think this means for Troll Team 6 coming in? Because they are still undefeated. They have 0 losses, and they've gained another map to their map pool.
Honestly, if I know anything about Derek, it's not going to matter if he won or lost. He has one single goal, and that is winning Season 4 of SEL. So this is just going to be another learning experience for him. He's going to figure out this map, figure out the team he just played, and just move forward to the next play week, play the next team they play, and win that game as well.
Yeah, and as we've seen Daddy Derek, he's going to be brought in here. Hello, Derek.
What's going on, fellas?
Well, it's been a while since we talked. Actually, we talked last week, my friend. It seems I've been talking to you a lot. Congrats on another win, and it was definitely a strong one at that. Your opponents, they went to Coastline last week, and then you played on Coastline today. Were you prepared for this map? Did you do VOD reviews at all?
Oh, we did not. Unfortunately, I didn't even know they played on this map. We've been really busy with like trials and trying to get like a solid 5th, so it's been we haven't been able to do that type of research quite yet.
Now, it looks like you're playing with a new member, Loading. Is he just a sub for today, or tell me about him?
Well, Loading's like a longtime friend. Met him a long time ago when we played him. He was playing for a different team, but now he's coming back to comp, but he was mostly just subbing for us. Hopefully we can hammer him down for the future, but we're just kind of testing the waters to see how he likes to come back to comp, because he's taking a month break, so.
Now, Slasher, he was your player. He's actually your statistic best player. So is he leaving the team?
Yeah, we parted ways with Slasher yesterday evening, so he is no longer going to be playing with.
Interesting. Light Rose, any more questions?
I just wanted to ask, did the after the split, we saw Unreal Nightmare claim a couple rounds. Did that really hinder your mindset at all?
To be honest, I feel like we gave him way more rounds than we should have. Like, we on attack, when we made that switch to attack, we had to TK Loading, so that was unfortunate. But like, we just gave like a lot of simple stuff. Then he TK'd me that last round, unfortunately, so he got us back. But I mean, I don't think that we should have given up as many rounds as we did. Like, there was just a lot of, obviously having a sub, it was just a lot of little miscommunications going on. But like, regardless, we played well and people were getting their frags and winning their ones. So I mean, when it comes down to it, as long as you're winning your ones, you can still kind of win the game.
Now, were you prepared for the smoke ban? They banned that last week. So if you did not do your VOD review, then maybe you weren't prepared for that, but I'd love to see how that affected the overall game.
Honestly, I feel like smoke is super good, obviously, like in competitive, but like recently we've been playing teams and scrimming teams that have been banning smoke. Like, we haven't scrimmed Coastline too much lately, but even like the last time we played it, it was banned and we were kind of confused. But, like, we're started seeing like Pro League doing it or whatever they call it, NA League, but we were surprised. I would say we were surprised, but like at the same time, we could play around it just because we've been seeing it more. So it's like, hey, it's just easy, switch up specific operators. We didn't have like a specific, like, hey, smoke's banned, we picked this, but it was like, we have a couple operators, just, hey, like, pick your operator. If it doesn't work, we'll switch it to something different.
Fair enough, my friend. Anything to say to your fans? You definitely have a lot of them here.
Oh, well, that's nice to hear. Anything to say to the fans? I appreciate all the support, and hopefully we can keep doing well and stomping some cheeks, and continue to be taking interviews. So it's always fun.
Well, my friends, always a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Of course. See you guys soon.
Cheers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up week number 4 with us. And that was a brilliant showing. And unfortunately, we don't have a second game for you today because there was sadly a forfeit.
Yeah, unfortunate, but sometimes that's just how the cards are played. But a great game come out as we see Troll Team 6 triumph over Unreal Academy on Coastline 7-4. Anything you want to say before we end this off, Chief?
Well, until next time, stay safe, stay well. We'll be back with you next week.